Dustin, congratulations on the victory. I know it's kind of a weird ending, but obviously, a very exciting fight while it lasted. How satisfied are you as you sit there right now with the performance tonight?
You never want to get a win that way, but what happened was a result of checking a kick. I'm more than sure of it, and he got what he had coming to him, man. Karma's a mirror. And I busted my ass for so long to put myself in this position. I doubled down on myself after beating him in January when they offered me a title shot. I doubled down on myself and it paid off.
Right. You were in there with him obviously just 6 months ago, so you're familiar with him at this point. How did that first round play out? Did anything surprise you? I mean, he did have a couple of decent moments in there. Did anything surprise you at all?
When he jumped for a guillotine, that surprised me. Nah, he hit me with a good left hand. I kind of was at an angle. I didn't see it. It was like a downward left hand. The kid can punch, man. He really can. He hit me with a good left hand. I thought he was going to use calf kicks against me, and I was right. Yeah, that's about it.
Jump the gilly, your signature move there, right?
Don't be silly, jump the gilly.
It did look a little bit in there. I was trying to figure out. It looked like you were complaining a little bit to Herpine.
Oh, that's why I let him up. That's why I let him up at the end of the. I don't know. But I let him up because he had 3 fingers in my glove, the cuff of the tape, so it's a good grip. And he's pulling me down into up kicks. He's pulling me down and kicking up at the same time. I'm not surprised that he does that type of stuff. I was telling Herb that, this guy's, I can't get out of it.
Did he acknowledge you at all? That's why I couldn't tell what was being said. Did Herb acknowledge you at all? Or?
When I told Herb maybe Conor pulled his fingers out, I got to go back. Fighting's crazy. I got to go back and see. But that's what I was trying to tell Herb.
Yeah. And then obviously there was a late sequence at the end of the opening round. I mean, you were pushing to the end. When you went back to your corner at the end of round 1, did you know something was wrong?
Yeah, when I was walking away, and he stayed down, I looked down at his shin and I saw the bone. Like I saw it was disfigured a little bit, and I was like, oh man. It's just weird that it held together because I'm more than sure it happened when I checked the kick, that it held together, and then, probably when he pivoted on that bone, that's when it probably separated or something. I don't know, I'm not a doctor.
Yeah. So as you walk back to your corner, did you go, the fight's over?
Yeah, I went to sit on the stool and I forget who was it in my corner came up to me and said, this is over.
Like you said, it's not the way you want a fight to end, right? But I do wonder, he said you were going to be leaving on a stretcher. He ends up leaving on a stretcher. Do you take any satisfaction in that?
Listen, Conor said some nasty stuff that didn't make it on Embedded, and maybe when this behind the scenes for this fight airs, you'll see him on the ground still saying some real bad stuff. But even that stuff being said, I don't wish, serious harm like that on nobody. The guy's got kids. I want him to go home safe to his family. I pray before these fights. Every time before I walk through the octagon door, I'm praying that not for me to win. I'm praying that we both get out of this safe because I know what I'm gonna try to do to him. I know what he's gonna try to do to me.
He said afterwards the rivalry's not over. Dana White was here earlier, and Dana said, obviously you're going to fight for the title next, but at some point you do the rematch down the line. Do you feel like the rivalry is over, or do you feel like...
No, we are going to fight again, whether it's in the octagon or on the sidewalk. You don't say the stuff he said,
The things that he did say, especially afterwards, you're saying about your wife and that sort of
thing. My wife's solid as a rock. I'm not worried about that. That's noise. He was saying that he was going to kill me. You don't say stuff like that. That he was going to murder me. You don't say stuff like that, You don't say stuff about people's wives either, but I know that's I know that's zero chance. But there is a chance, somebody could die. And you don't say that. You don't wish that on anybody, man.
Last thing for me, is it. You're fighting for the world title next. I know it's going to be a big moment for you. Early, I'm sure you want to go rest a little bit.
I just want to know how much Chad Ochocinco lost tonight. Yeah, you bet on Conor? Okay.
I figure you put more down than that as well. No, but I will ask, obviously you fight for the title next. Do you have an idea? Do you have a date circuit on the calendar, an idea? How soon you want to fight?
I feel like I've been preparing for a fight since last year because I was getting ready for Conor in January. I fought him. As soon as the fight ended, I knew that was next. So I got home from Abu Dhabi and started training for that fight. I did a 9-week camp, but as soon as I got home from Abu Dhabi, I was, I had one trip. I got to decompress a little bit, but I was getting ready to fight him again. The last thing I want to do right now is go home and sign a contract and start getting ready right away. We'll see. I just need to get home and think about some things and decompress and spend some time with my family. I just found out my little brother's gonna be a dad, and I just want to be around him.
Dustin, to your left. Congratulations on the victory. I know the win means a lot to you, but are you most proud of the fact that you maintained your dignity and you didn't kind of stoop to those kind of things? It would have been easy when the crowd was going crazy at the press conference and all throughout the week. You did not do that. Is that what makes you proud of your performance this week?
I'm proud of the performance, but I am proud at maintaining the mindset through all the craziness, all the talk, all the noise that's surrounding me when coming into these fights. And it doesn't start just here on fight week. It starts months away on social media. In the last month I got off of social media and just let my agency post, and they would send me a picture, I would tell them a caption, they would do it all, and I wouldn't have to get on because there's just so much negativity and so much toxicity on that, man. I don't need that around me, dude. I'm trying to be a light. I'm trying to help people. Look, my goal is to provide for my family, and with these same hands that I beat these guys down with, lift my city up, lift people in need up, and just be a beacon of light and a voice for people whose voice isn't heard. And I feel like I'm doing that, and I'm happy.
How much do you think beating him twice will help your charitable efforts? Because now you're a much more notable fighter than you were, say, in December of last year, having beaten Conor McGregor twice. Do you think about that and think it'll make more of an impact for other people because of these 2 wins?
Yeah, anytime you beat a guy like that on a stage like this, I don't know. This was a big fight. A lot of eyes were on this, and I got to talk about the good fight a little bit in the post-fight interview. But not only the post-fight interview, my career, my star gets bigger. More people are Googling, and I'm reaching more people. And with that, we can set bigger goals and just keep the good fight going. I have very big plans. We're going back to Uganda to build housing on land we bought. With the overflow money after we built the water wells during the Khabib fight. Me, Manny Pacquiao, Justin Wren are all coming together with our nonprofits, and we're going there. We're going to build on 40 acres, and I'm just excited and proud and happy to be in a spot like that, to be able to recognize the position I'm in, and I want to keep growing, and these kind of fights do that.
You referenced the guillotine attempt that he had before. He put that quote out where he talked about, I don't recognize losses by submission, only KOs. So, when you look at it after the fight and you go, he tried twice on you on a guillotine, like, what does that say? The fact that he's dogging submissions and yet there he is trying to submit you twice.
That just shows you, man, that it's all noise, I feel like all the craziness he was doing, he has to do that for himself. To hype himself up. Honestly, man, I'm good. I don't even like this shit anymore, dude. I just scrap because I'm good at it and I enjoy the fight. But all this other stuff, all the talk, I just come here to get in the fight.
Last question for me, and I know you said you don't want to talk about an Oliveira fight, but is it going to be difficult in your mind? Like McGregor was such a big obstacle to overcome the last time because he had beaten you the first time. This time to prove it wasn't a fluke. Now you get to Oliveira and he's just a dude in the division, right? That happens to have the belt. Mentally, will that be a hurdle, and will that be a little bit of a challenge during camp to get yourself back to that same place?
No, he's not just a guy in the division who happens to have the belt. He's a guy who's picked himself up off the canvas time and time again, fought through adversity, through 2 weight classes, been in the UFC a decade. He's not just a guy with a belt, he's earned every ounce of gold he has around his waist, and I have nothing but respect for guys like that. I don't know him personally, but his work history, I can't hate on anything he's done. The guy, it's incredible. That's tougher to do than, I think, to go undefeated, because you never learn things about yourself. You learn so much about things about yourself in those losses, and of climbing back up to the top and getting motivated again. That's when you find out you're a real fighter. I'm not saying that these undefeated guys aren't, but I'm just saying I have respect for somebody like that who's climbed back up and won a world championship.
Hey, Dustin, down here to your left. Congratulations on the win. Trilogies in combat sports, there's always a sense of closure and finality for trilogies. Do you feel that coming off of this win? Closure?
It sucks, man, because I was gonna beat the guy if his leg would have held up. I don't know. I'm not sure yet. I need to digest it all, you know, because right now it kind of feels weird that I have a lot of fights, and there's always been a definite end to my, well, besides the first Eddie Alvarez fight was kind of gray area, but it's not a good feeling, you know. I won, and I feel like what happened was because something I did, but it's not like I went out there and submitted him or put him away. There's going to be so many voices and so many opinions saying, oh, you didn't win. You know, I know that. I know the MMA fans. I know the MMA game. But I'm going back home to my family, and you guys here can check my record tomorrow, and it's a win.
Well, I want to get your reaction on you know, some of the, I guess, the mixed reaction from the crowd tonight when you came out, you know, after the finish. You know, you're a guy who tries really hard to do everything right. You have a charity, you're a family man, and you know they're cheering someone like Conor, you know, over you. Even with all the things that he said, you know, some things that, like you said, were maybe crossed the line. I mean, the fans' reaction. How does that make you feel?
Man, fans, you know, I appreciate them. I appreciate them filling up the seats, and they're gonna root for who they're gonna root for. Like I said, it's noise. You know, I don't really overthink that stuff anymore. It's just noise. Thank you for buying the ticket.
Dustin, over here on your right. First of all, congratulations on getting the win. In the post-fight press conference in the cage, you referenced you brought somebody out to the fight tonight. Can you elaborate on that? Tell us a story about that.
Yeah, we did a fundraiser back home right before I left to start training camp for a young man named Peyton Murphy. And we flew him and his mom and dad out here. He's battling a bone cancer, and the cancer had went into remission, and then it came back. So, you know, he's a real fighter. Guys like that, that's who I want to lift up, and it's inspiring to me to see this guy, you know, going about his everyday life, still, you know, loving life and living life, and never giving up hope, you know. That's a real fighter. So yeah, we flew his family out, and we did a fundraiser and raised some money for them back home in Louisiana.
That's good stuff. All week you did a pretty good job of not getting into the trash talk too much. You kind of took the high road all week, but in the post-fight press conference, it seemed like he kind of dug into that a little bit. Did he say something to you afterwards in the cage that triggered that, and if so, what was it?
Yeah, he was saying, he was putting, dude, I hope they show the behind the scenes stuff, man. He was like still sitting on the ground, still saying, I'm gonna kill you. He was putting his hand to his head like a gun. Like, bro, chill out. Chill out. He was saying that.
All right, thanks, Dustin.
Dustin, right here, the front. Dustin, a lot of the times when you have a champion leave, you know, the next guy coming in, there's like, well, you're great, but you didn't beat the man to become the man. You've now had 2 fantastic performances against Conor McGregor. Charles is on a great win streak. Can you talk about just how you guys, you know, this is a new era in the lightweight division, and both you and Charles, even though you're not going to get that Khabib fight again, you guys are now running the show at 155.
That's anything, man. That's not only sports, business, everything. You know, the next generation comes up. There's new contenders. There's new hungry guys who's putting in work, and the game's not only that. The game's always evolving. So you have these young kids now who have been training mixed martial arts since they were 12 years old. You know, now they're 18 and start fighting, and it's just a different landscape for mixed martial arts because it's such a new sport.
Fans talk about, you know, rivalry, and, you know, the media gets into it, a lot of storylines get into it. When you think of Conor, you know, take yourself out of it in the competition, do you see it like this is a rival, or is this just, you know what, this is a guy I just happened to be scheduled to compete against? Like, how do you see him, you know, in the story of your career?
Yeah, I'm trying my best to not take it personal, but like I'm saying, man, I know I'm making it seem like a big deal talking about this over and over again, but you don't say that type of shit to people. You don't say you're gonna kill somebody. You know, I don't take that lightly, man. I don't know.
Thank you.
Dustin, right here. You know, you mentioned that you don't really, you know, like fighting too much anymore necessarily, but
I like fighting. I don't like the process. I don't like the sheep fans and the crazy clickbait media.
Fair enough.
You know, it's turned into a fashion show. You know, I like the real stuff, and that's fighting. That's the only real part about this whole thing.
Right. So I mean, if you were to go back in time though, like if you never got into fighting, what do you think you would have ended up doing?
I don't know. I was getting in a lot of trouble before fighting, man. I'm not sure. I'm glad I did. I'm glad I did for sure.
Is it fun for you to kind of see all the celebrities at a big event like this?
Yeah, it was cool, man. Steve-O came backstage, David Spade, a bunch of people. It's awesome. Tonight was packed, you know. Trump was right there when I turned around. It's crazy.
The Rat King make it out, Theo?
Theo's here, yeah.
Right.
Theo is here for sure.
Hey, Dustin. Dustin, congrats on the victory. Right over here. Let's say you beat Oliveira and you become the lightweight champion. In your eyes, does Conor McGregor need to win a fight to get a title shot against you?
Bro, Conor McGregor is 1-3 or 1-4 in the lightweight division. Yeah, he has to win some fights. But like I said before, a guy like that goes out there and starches somebody, he's right back in the top contender talk, you know, just because of his star power.
Dustin over here.
The guy with real questions at the press conference.
Thank you, sir. All stories have heroes and villains, the good guys and the bad guys. You work with kids, you inspire, you motivate, you change lives. What's the message you can give to these kids about how people are cheering the bad guy and booing the good guy in a setting like this where they can understand how life really works sometimes? He is a magnificent personality, we get that. But the work that you do, obviously, the kids have to be confused. Why are they booing the bad guy? What do you tell them, and how does that affect you personally?
I don't know. I don't think about it that deep. But that's just the world we live in, you know? That's just the world these kids are gonna grow up in. I don't know how to answer that question.
Does it, you know, when he is being cheered, and listen, this crowd is chanting USA for every other American fighter other than you. Doesn't affect you in any capacity?
I definitely would rather them be cheering for me, but like I'm pretty solid mentally now. I just don't care about that stuff. It doesn't really bother me, you know, because they can't get in there and fight for him.
Dustin over here, to your far right. So one of the things you were kind of hinting at was all the noise he was making, all the trash he was talking. A lot of people were thinking both of you guys were equally as confident going into this fight, but I wonder if you kind of feel that maybe he wasn't that confident going into this fight.
Yeah, I think he was overcompensating for that mental space where he's asking himself at night, you know, am I still that guy?
Yeah.
And maybe he performs better when he's in that character, in that mode. You know, everybody has their own thing. I don't know.
Would it make you feel any better or worse knowing it was all kind of a put on to try to get into your head because he didn't feel he had much of a chance?
Nah, you know, I don't hate the guy, but you just don't say stuff like that.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
You don't say stuff like that.
Last question for me. How does he rate among the best opponents you've faced?
He's an incredible athlete. His timing is great. His power is great. His speed. He has a lot of great attributes. His ability to thrive under pressure and cameras and lights is you know, amazing as well. But he's just a human being, like I was saying at the press conference. You know, he bleeds just like me.
Absolutely. Congratulations.
Dustin, would you mind to talk a little bit more about Oliveira? How do you see you can beat him? How do you see him as your next opponent?
I haven't started getting with my coaches and breaking down footage and doing all that, you know, everything that comes along with preparing for an opponent. But I'll probably just calf kick him. Probably.
When and where do you want to fight him?
We'll see. I need to go home and decompress. I don't know the schedule for the UFC, what they're planning on doing at the end of the year. I know somebody earlier told me Charles wanted to fight me in December. So we'll see. You know, we'll figure everything out. I just want to get home to my family.
Dustin, question for you. Your mental focus was outstanding. You never played the McGregor games. I know that was you didn't focus on the title either. You focused on Conor. Looking at Charles now, will that be an issue thinking about Conor, or will the entire focus be on the title?
No, because like I know for certain the title fight wasn't even gonna be an option, you know, until tonight happened. So there's no reason to drain energy on on that plan. When I have plan A right here, I can't look at plan B or the next step, because all I have is a moment, you know.
Dustin, I think after the last event, a lot of us felt the story between you two, everybody liked the interaction, but now after seeing what happened in this fight week, where do you think that the hate from Conor stems from?
Like we were just talking, maybe he has to build himself up to be that guy, and he performs better that way. He believes the stuff he's saying, and he turns into that character. I don't know. Maybe he's a bad person. I don't know.
And then a couple other lighthearted ones. I'd love to give you one more chance to plug the stuff that you're doing with Justin Wren and Pacquiao. A little update on where you guys stand with that and the work that you guys are doing.
I have to get with my wife and see the donations that come into the website, and then obviously every fight I auction off my fight kit. So 100% of those proceeds from the auction of my fight kit of what I wore tonight is going to go to that goal. And I'm not sure exactly where we're at with that, but I would guess we're going in the right direction.
And lastly, I'm not sure if you saw it while you were in the back. When Tuivasa was coming out and leaving the cage, he was doing some shoeys. I don't know if you saw somebody poured him a shoey, but actually put your hot sauce in there as well. I don't know if you actually saw. He wasn't the biggest fan, but I don't think he was blaming on the fact of your sauce. It was just the fact that somebody actually put hot sauce in with beer. He said it was a no.
From a shoe?
In a shoe.
Don't blame it on the sauce, blame it on the feet. You know what I mean?
Fair enough. Congrats.
Yes, real quick to you, right?
Final two questions.
You mentioned how you don't care about the stuff around the fight so much anymore, and you don't get dragged into the negativity. And we could see you kind of in the pre-fight press conference. It seemed like you were just willing yourself not to get pulled into his stuff. How did you get to that point? What was the process like to go from being pulled into some of that stuff to getting to this point where you're not as bothered by it?
It's just been a long process of years of making mistakes, from being too committed and caring too much about everything, and things that I can't control. I'm not sure. It's just evolution of myself, not only as a fighter, but as a husband and a father. I don't know. I know who I am, so people can't tell me who I am. You can't sit here at a press conference and tell me who I am, Come on.
Lastly, people wondered, I think, after the last one being in Abu Dhabi in a different environment, and how some of these fights without crowds have been like a real different feel, and then you come here and it's the exact opposite of that, a packed arena in a really high energy, high emotion kind of environment. What's the difference between those? How does it translate to a different fighting experience?
When I fought at the Apex last year, that was one of the best fighting experiences I had. It was quiet, peaceful. Fighting's chaotic. When I'm in the locker room warming up, I have I have anxiety and nerves. I'm about to go in front of the world. Millions of people are watching. My city back home is watching and rooting for me. I don't want to let anyone down. I don't want to let myself down. I want to perform in my ability at the top of my, whatever I'm capable of doing, I want to perform at that. And I'm just, over time I've got acquainted with those feelings. So when I'm in the locker room warming up, I'm like, here we go again, and I've learned that those feelings are what keep you alive, what keep you able to react in the moment at a higher speed and be on your game. But I liked fighting in the Apex when it was quiet.
Dustin, I know you've been up here a while, so I'm gonna let you get out of here. But you've been asked a bunch about you tuning everything out, you tuning Conor out, not paying attention to it. But what about, do you have to have a conversation with the family and people around you to say, hey, listen, a lot of stuff's gonna come out, just ignore it, don't pay attention to it, because other people might have a more difficult time.
Yeah, with my wife yesterday.
Thug wife, by the way. That's the new nickname.
Yeah. My husband, or am I her wife?
No, my coach, I think, said thug wife for the picture of her flipping off Conor in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I mean, though, about, other people around you don't.
Well, she was getting worked up, just like the stuff with the charity. But I've been in the spotlight a long time, been fighting UFC, had great performances, mostly. A few ones that didn't go my way. And I just know, the fire that comes down with that stuff. So I'm more, equipped to handle all the hate. She she's not. So when the charity stuff started happening with Connor and a lot of hate was being thrown, she felt it because she, you know, does so much for the charity. So it kind of started bringing her down. And then with Connor doing this other stuff he just did, like, it was working her up more than it was me, you know. So yeah.
Will the sauce be sold out tomorrow?
Sorry, how much more difficult is it, like, when you don't have, like, you have to see your family going through it, you have to watch them because you are able to tune it out. You said it was cool, you're chill, but then when you have to, it has to hurt you to have other people
Yeah,
get hurt.
yeah, yeah. I don't like to see that, man, but I guess that's just, I don't know, I guess that's just where I'm at in my career, in the sport. But, you know, I don't want anybody around me to have to go through stuff like that. But that, man, that's whatever, man. It's social media stuff, you know. That shit's not real.
Will there still be sauce tomorrow? Or will it be sold out?
We'll have to see. We're about to launch. This is the original. This is the OG. We're about to launch the KO edition on the 15th. So people wanted a hotter sauce, and we definitely brought a hotter sauce with ghost pepper. So.
Can you eat it?
Oh yeah. Thank you guys so much.